Hi everyone, welcome to the very last video in this Hanna Karlzon season series. I've had such fun with this page. I hope that it's been fun for you guys as well. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to colour each of these three very similarly. I like the idea of them matching, they're drawn in a very similar style. I'm going to start with the dots. Now this is a bit unusual, but I don't want to go over these when I do my main part, and there's a risk. So what I'm going to do is burnish some white quartz into each of the dots, so that makes it harder for me to go over them. Now these have got little stars on, which is adorable. I haven't decided what I'm doing with the stars. I'm going to go around them with the white. It's very tempting to sort of use a gold pen or something, but I haven't done any gold on this page, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm just doing all the dots. Now we have some black dots on here as well. That could be something that I decide to change to white once we finished and dot away with my white pen. Or I might decide not to. Now my book here is cream, which is nice because it means that I can actually see which of these I have coloured with the white. It probably doesn't show up on the camera, but bear with me. It's a little bit dull watching me just colour white dots, but we'll get there. But I hope you're all having fun. I hope maybe you're colouring along, maybe you're colouring this, maybe you're colouring something else, don't know. It's always nice to think that people are colouring, and that the whole idea of the videos is to encourage you to colour, so I hope that's what you're doing, or at least chilling, relaxing, enjoying. I know some of you watch videos in bed, so colouring then isn't easy. Some people can manage it. There are some little devices like lap trays and things like that I know people use, but I think lying down colouring would be quite difficult. Would be for me. I think sitting down colouring one thing, if I had the right sort of tilted tray, might be okay, but then reaching for a new colour and things like that would be tricky. Maybe monochrome colouring would be the way to do it in bed, I don't know. But fortunately I don't have to worry about that, so I'm very lucky. So I can sit at my desk. Right, now I've decided that I'm going to do these in a very traditional red. I don't know about you, but I really like a red mushroom / toadstool. I think it just looks so rich and pretty. So I've got to find the right reds. I think I have done all of those. I'm just going to try and tip them to the light. Can't really see. I just hope I have. Okay. Got a nice selection of reds here. I'm actually going to start with quite a dark colour. This is the Garnet red. I see it's quite dark. I'm going to do a little bit of this at each side of each one, and we're going to sort of make them lighter and have a lightest bit in the middle. You'll see. So it's really important when you put down your dark colour that you fade it like that, so that when you get your next colour it blends in better. If you do a line like that and then stop, when you start your next colour you'll still see that line. But if I fade it like this, it's much easier to blend in the next colour. That's why I do it that way. It takes a bit of practice just getting that fade right, but if it's not exactly even, it doesn't matter. It's quite difficult to do it on pages like this with lots of little details to colour around. But just make sure it's darker here and lighter here. And sometimes it can be easier to fade it all the way across the whole picture, and then you get a definite it's easier to blend. But I'm not going to do it that way with this one. Depends on the size of what you're doing, how much space you have to fade your colour down. Now I'm not going to worry about the fact that that is going to cast a shadow there. We might worry about it later, we just might not worry about it at all. The idea is to try and keep it fun and simple. If that sort of thing worries you, just don't worry about it. Just leave it out, pretend it's not there. That's what I do. It's like things like when there's a light coming out of a lantern or a candle or something. I can't be doing with trying to figure out how to get that candle light looking exactly right. I'm going to move to a Carmine red. This is going to be my main colour, so I'm going to take the colour quite a long way across. Now, this one's quite small, so I'm going to colour over the Garnet red. If you find that the Garnet red disappears because this colour's lying on top of it, you can always redo a bit afterwards. I think the key to the best colouring I have seen is lots of layers. So not just putting down one colour and waiting. There are some beautiful pictures I've seen like that, but most people who produce the artwork that most others like and admire, they layer up their colours. So you can see you can see the darker edge here from the Garnet and then it getting lighter, and that's what I wanted to achieve. You may find that the amount of Garnet red here isn't enough, but you know, it doesn't go into the centre of the, maybe not into the centre of the mushroom enough, but we'll see. We'll take this in and then we'll find out. So I've been thinking about getting my completed pages video ready for October. This was probably going out in November, I'm guessing, but it's getting near the end of October. I'm almost at 100 pages, but I did cheat. So I made my September video quite early in the month, so I had an extra week. I had the last week of September. It was just because of the way the dates fell, and I had to get it recorded early in case I had workmen in and that sort of thing. So I had to do it the weekend before. I think the first was like on a Friday and I had to do it the weekend before, something like that. I can't quite remember. No, the first on the Saturday, that's right. And my son had an eye test, so I couldn't get it all done. So I did it a bit early. So I did it a week early, so I've got an extra week's worth of videos. Now we've got to a point where I'm sort of thinking, maybe I haven't got enough. Just take it across a little bit more really faintly for our last colour. It might not look right on this one, we'll have to add a bit more Garnet red, as I said before. We'll just see how it goes. There we go. I'm going to do this one. So yeah, I've got a lot, but a lot of them also are where I've completed books. So some of the books are quite small, pictures in them. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to complete any books for the next one. I haven't really thought about it. Right, my last red, I'm just looking, is going to be the crimson red. And here, so I just want to fill in this centre part with this and then just take it out as far as need be. I don't want to take it all the way to the edge because it will start covering over that dark area, which we want to see that there is a difference in colour between this red and the very first one that we used. And what I will probably do is come back with my Tuscan red and just darken up a little bit on the edges. Okay, now here we actually probably need to start right from back here. So we want the the red to look quite solid. I think it looks nicer like that. You can, there's nothing wrong with having paper showing through. There will be some anyway. I just don't want quite as much as is there. So just going over it a little bit more. Yeah, I had challenged myself to finish quite a few books before Johanna's new one came out. Sometimes I get a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of books that I have, and as much as they're absolutely beautiful, I just needed to finish a few and put them away. I know some people get books out according to the seasons, which is probably a good idea, so I should probably sort of put away the ones that aren't relevant for the time of year, but I don't tend to do that. So anyway, it's nice to get a few finished. I had fun with them. It can be tempting to think that I just rushed through them to sort of finish them, but I didn't. I had fun with them. I've got other books that I have been trying to finish, but I sort of do a few pages and think, oh, I've had enough of that for now, so I do put it away. I don't persevere and not have fun. So I will, I'll get through them and finish them. My aim is always to finish everything. I'm that sort of finishing type person. But I sort of, at one point, sort of said to myself, oh, right, I'm just going to sharpen my pencil. I didn't say that. I said to myself, I'm not going to finish every book that I've got. I'm just going to pick out my favourite pictures and just do them. But it's something that is difficult for me to do. Oh, I just coloured right over that. I'll show you what to do. So I guess burnishing in white didn't really work. But if I try and erase that, I wonder if it'll come up easier. I don't think it will. Oh, it's not too bad. That's pretty much gone. So I think the white acted as a barrier for it. It didn't stain the paper. Yeah, so I sort of thought, right, I'll just, some of my books, maybe I don't want to do every single page. I'll just do a selected few, and but then you sort of look at it and you look at the next page and the next page, and they're all so beautiful. You just want to do them all. So we'll see. But yeah, I think like everyone, my book collection is growing faster than I'm being able to keep up with it, and I very much appreciate it and enjoy it, and it's lovely to have lots of choice. And there are always going to be particular pictures that stand out in books that you really want to do. But saying that, with Rooms of Wonder, Johanna Basford, I'm already like zipping through it. I'm really enjoying it. I can't put it down. I think it's just because it's Johanna. I mean, as much as I love other people, she's just like my favourite, and I think everyone knows. And so, she's got new images. I just want to do them. So I'm having fun. I've got one on my desk next door that I'm part of the way through, which I'll go and finish while I'm editing this video. Which will be fun. Sort of looking forward to getting over there and doing that one. It's quite a simple, it's one of the wallpaper pages, and I picked quite a simple idea to do it with, so it's been nice and relaxing. So while my computer's whirring away and I'm sitting there, editing is not fun, but if I can be colouring at the same time, then it makes it far more fun. Right, I have finished most of that now. I'm going to get my Tuscan red, as I said before, and just darken up those edges again, just to define that they're a bit darker, just maybe not everywhere. I'm just going to have a look and see where I think it needs it, and just so that we can see that it's not all one colour. I'm taking some of this quite far in because I don't want it to look like it's dark, light. I want it to look like there's a graduation of colour. So that's what I'm doing. I've got some planner pages I need to do as well. I'd like to do those for you. I'm quite excited by December's. I know I'm thinking miles ahead, but because I haven't got Johanna's Christmas book, I've completed 2 copies of her Christmas book already, so I haven't got another one. I've got plenty of other Christmas bits and pieces to do, so that's great. So I appreciate those. So it'll be nice to do the planner pages because they're hers. It's always special to do a Johanna picture. Just trying to get a bit of a balance. I think it's working. And I'm going to have a think now while I'm doing this last one about those stars. I think I'm going to do them in a really bright yellowy colour. Just looking at what we've got, this is the nicest one, I think. This is the sunflower yellow. I'm going to give it a sharpen because those stars are quite small. I mean, you could do them more magical in sort of pink or purple, but I think with the red, they're going to show up really nicely. And I'm just going to colour them in quite solidly. There's not enough room to do anything else. If you want to surround them with some sparkle, you know, you could do these circles in a silver metallic or a glitter pen just to make them sparkle, the outside sparkle rather than on, or you could use a clear glitter pen on top of the stars to make them more shiny. You could use a yellow gold glitter pen. There's lots of options, but I'm just keeping it with the pencil set that I have chosen for this page. Right, now each of these dots, I want them to look a little bit more three-dimensional, very flat at the moment. Just looks like someone spread a printed fabric over the top of the mushroom. There's no depth. So what I'm going to do is underneath each one put a little bit of shadow, and that helps to give the impression of that they're standing out a little bit. I'm going to use the espresso brown and just draw a little dark line under each one. Now you could use a black, but I find on the red a brown can work quite well. I also prefer the tone of a brown, it's more warm, but you may have a particular colour that you like to use for your shadows that you'd want to use for here. I sometimes find putting a shadow under a circle is quite difficult. It ends up sometimes a bit spiky. Try to follow the curve as much as you can at the bottom to really get that shadowy effect. If this is too complex or fiddly, you don't have to do this. You can leave them looking quite flat. I coloured over that one, didn't I? It's up to you. I just think it's too much faffing. It is a bit faffy. Fiddly. We'll get there soon though. Not too many more to do. Just these ones down here. If you want your mushrooms to look darker, even darker on the edges, you could use a bit of this. But I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it as it is with the red. Okay, I'm going to keep this in my hand. I'm going to do these gills. And I'm going to go over with a grey in a minute, but I'm going to put that darker there. Scales are often a really dark grey. I don't have a dark browny grey, so that's why I am putting down a bit of this. I want to cover all of them. That was a mistake, leaving that bit free. There we go. And now I'm going to grab a grey. Now if I go for a really dark grey, it's going to just cover over it. So I'm going to use the elephant grey and hope that it can blend together so you can see the darker and the lighter. It needs a sharpen. Excuse me. Got a bit of a tickle. I think I need a drink. Well, just before I came in to record, I thought I'll make a drink and I can drink it when I get back out. And I found my cold breakfast coffee next to my chair, which I drank. Ugh. Nice skin on the top. Ugh. I don't know what these are, so I'm gonna do them in this colour. I don't think they're leaves, although they look a little bit leaf-like, because they actually seem to be part of the plant. So I'm gonna do them in this grey, and then we'll use a different shade of grey for the stem, I think. Just make it look a little more interesting. Do with some French greys really, couldn't we? But I'm getting more used to my Prismas. I swatched them out actually yesterday and which I haven't, you know, I've only had them for, you know, 6 months. I swatched them yesterday, and I'm just getting used to them, you know. I've been using them a bit in Rooms of Wonder. Sometimes they're really good, and sometimes I find them a bit tricky because they're they don't hold their point for as long as maybe I'd like. Right, I've got the cloudy grey now to do the stems. I'm going to do them quite pale. So I'm going to go in to this edge and overlap it quite a bit, and then just fade it into the middle. I'm going to put a little bit darker underneath those weird bits. I'm sure that's what they're called. And we'll do the same here, so a bit darker on the edge here, a little bit under here, down there, and then sort of fade it as we come in towards the middle with less layers. You can even leave a whitish bit in the centre. We go a bit darker when I start on this one because it's thicker. So we've got more space to sort of fade it down. A bit in there and a bit in there and a bit in there. Just fade it in. I do like colouring mushrooms. So fun. Everyone seems to like drawing them, which is really good. Get them in most books. Okay, now for these dots I'm going to use a little bit of this colour on them to do a sort of central bit. Now because they've already been coloured in white, it's not going to show up hugely, and I'm not going to do the ones with the stars on, only the empty circles, and I'm just putting a bit in the middle just to make them look a little less bland. That makes sense. And it sometimes makes them look a little bit more three-dimensional. I know there's quite a bit of red on them. Could rub that off, but I'm being lazy. I'm leaving it. There we go. Right, now we have these little grass. I think it's grass. I'm going to colour it as grass. I'm just going to choose the right sort of colour. I want a sort of mid-green. The Arteza isn't brilliant for that. You either get really dark or you get lighter. But I think I'm going to try this Matcha green. I think this is probably the best mid-green colour. It's the Matcha. And I'm not going to do much in the way of shading because they're small. The most I want to try and do is just make it a little bit darker at the bottom than the top, but I'm not sure whether I'm really going to achieve that very well, especially in these very short pieces. It's a bit easier when you've got a longer piece. And then once we've done that, we've got the little rocks to do. Now, I often do those in grey because our mushroom is grey. We've missed that bit out. Just going to grab my cloudy grey, just fill that bit in. There we go. Just do it when you see it, or else you might forget. That's always my idea, because I know once I get over here, I'm going to forget all about this side. Also, the quickie, if you remember what colour it was, then do it, you know. So what I tend to do is don't put all my colours away as I use them. I sort of put them to the side, or rest them on in the tin, a little bit sticking out of their section. So, oops, I'll just show you. Oh, sorry. So you've got this tin here. I would, if I was using this pink and I've used it, I would just do that. And then I know that it's a colour that I've used in my picture. So if I want to, if I find I've missed a bit and I need a pink, I'll know probably which pink it was that I used. Obviously it depends on how many millions of different pencils you use. I don't think I have millions of pencils, but I started counting once and got very frightened and stopped. So yeah, I do use them though. I don't buy them and look at them. Oh, sorry, I'm just moving those out of my way. Okay, so the stones. Now, I'm going to use a brown. I've used the espresso brown on the mushroom already, so I think I'm going to use that and it'll sort of tie up a little bit, I think. Now these are small, whoops, so I'm going to just do them solid, not worry about any sort of attempt to shade, create shadow or anything like that. I am just going to literally block them in. That's what I do with small areas, it's just easier. Right, there we go. Now we could put a little bit of ground underneath. We've done that for the pumpkins. Let's just put, this is the same pencil. I'm just gonna put a bit of dirt under. There we go. It's really, really pale. You probably can't see it. But there we go. There is our last picture. So let's come out so that you can see the whole page. There we go. So I really enjoyed that page. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed the videos. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know what we're going to be doing next, but I'm looking forward to it and finding out. But thank you for watching. Have a lovely day and happy colouring.